What's up, boys? We are back with the CMB Sports Show. I'm your host, Braylon Brakefield. Along with me, co-host, good friend, Cole Lepchitz. Cole, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys? What is going on? Back with another episode, man. It's feels good. I love when we have guests on too. Really changes up the waves and gets the brains thinking.
Yeah, so we have a guest with us today. He is, I guess you would say, the host, one of three from the Unclever podcast, Blake Wingo. So, Blake, how are you doing?
Co-host. I'm good, man. Co-host. Don't get the other two guys after me now. They'll be on my
yeah, that's what.
They'll be on my case.
See, I don't feel like that's a.
Now, dude.
I don't feel like that's a slight to say you're the host. A slight to them.
I kind of steer the thing. I'm the one that talks the most, I guess. But everybody has to have a role. And
yeah, I feel like you're the point guard. You're dishing it out. They're getting up the shots.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's the only time in my life I've ever been referred to as a point guard. So usually, yeah, I'm more like a third string power forward most of the time. So
yeah, y'all, I'm a huge fan of y'all's pod. I think I've listened to every episode. The only reason I haven't listened to the newest one, I got about 2 minutes for where I had both of my kids asleep today, and then when I woke up, so I haven't got to listen to that one. But y'all got a unique thing going on where you just kind of talk about whatever you want. Like, you just bring in random people who are masters at stuff, or y'all are off the wall.
Yeah, we'll have to get you guys on for sure at some point, since y'all are masters of the sports podcast realm, right? So it's
no.
We do. We try to get people from different backgrounds on, just to things that we think people would find interesting, and we haven't. We're trying to step up our guest game. We've got a bunch of really good ones in the hopper that have been kind of in the hopper for a long time, but making them happen is kind of difficult, and we're not up to the second like you guys are. It's with sports and stuff, y'all have to be on top of it, current events, right? So
yeah,
with us, we get together and record anywhere from 2 to 5 episodes at a time, and so it's normally 3. That's kind of what we do. Well, we release one every Monday, and that's kind of our schedule right now, and hopefully one day we'll get to where we release 2 a week. But yeah, we got kids also, so
yeah, that makes it a little tougher. Yeah, I know y'all have had everything from having Nate Otts on talking about how to survive if you get attacked by a dog, to Brent Wilson talking about flying planes, and Cameron Soulsby talking about the WWE, and then you talking about hiding in the woods with a Sasquatch gear on, running from people.
Yeah, it's like we start with okay, who are our bros out there? Who do we know that can get on and talk about something interesting? So we kind of started that way, but from the jump, we've been kind of putting hooks in the water, and so we actually have a legitimate Bigfoot hunter that's supposed to come on to talk. So we kind of, So we were kind of I reached out to him really early on, and then when he heard the episode, he thought it was funny, and so I don't know, but now I'm timid because I don't know how to handle the guy, right? Because it's like, all right, we think it's just like a big joke and good for laughs, but he's going to come on and talk about legitimately finding a Yeti. So
yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
So we
awesome.
Go ahead.
No, you got it.
So we have Blake on. We're going to do a draft of goats. Just anything you can think of where you look at it and you say, hey, that's the goat right there. That's as good as it gets. We got an order. It goes me, Blake, Cole, Snake draft, of course, then I'll wrap back around. So with the first pick, I feel like I have to stick to my guns. And I'm taking the greatest eater of all time. I'm taking Joey Chestnut. He's on another level. Nobody's even close. Just every July 4th, he breaks his own record. And he's just doing it with ease. Like, it's just a fun hobby to him.
That's a good one, man. I think that Joey Chestnut's performance this past year is probably one of the best. He breaks his record and chokeslams a guy, Darth Vader of all people. Just puts him right in his place, then just goes back to the glizzy game. And I don't know, man. The dude is crazy. I mean, the dominance of that long. I think it's been like 25
years probably. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, it's something crazy of his eating expertise. I mean, and to be so skinny too. I just wish he'd kind of send out his pointers for that part. But dude's metabolism just must be through the roof.
Yeah, you're not going to believe this, but I thought there's no way that we'll step on each other's toes just talking about random goats. Sure enough, that was right out of the gate. You took one. That was going to be my third rounder right there. And you took it right out of the gate. Yeah, Chestnut's definitely the goat.
He is.
You figure there'll be more than one where we step on each other?
See, I was thinking the same thing. I didn't think anybody would have that. I have 10 written down. I don't expect any of them to get drafted.
He was my third rounder. I already had all kinds of other world, because the reason that he's the GOAT as far as competitive eating is because everybody knows him for the Nathan's hot dogs, but he's got so many other records as well.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
like tons. I got a big list of them pulled up that was like unbelievable. One of the ones that blew my mind was the Big Macs. 32 Big Macs in 38 minutes.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
Dude, just mac sauce alone. I mean, oh my gosh.
But when he come on the scene, it was like, because you remember how big a deal was Kobayashi was?
Yeah.
And then Chestnut comes on the scene, and I think Kobayashi, he had maxed out at like 50-something maybe, like 54, 55 or something like that on the Nathan's hot dogs. And then Chestnut comes on the scene, it's like year 2, he puts down 76. That's still his record, I think. But that's insane. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's crazy.
I think it's been like since 2000 or something, he's won every year but one. And it was like when his fiance left him, and he talked about he was like severely depressed, and that's like the only year that anybody else has even won it.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's wild. Well, I guess I'll have to go back to the drawing board for my third round pick. So should I go ahead with my first then?
Yes.
All right. So with my first pick in the GOAT draft, I'm taking the greatest sports movie villain of all time, which is Dolph Lundgren as Ivan Drago from Rocky IV.
Oh yeah, from Rocky.
From Rocky IV. I mean, let's seriously. This guy, the reason he's the perfect villain for a sports movie, and I considered others. I mean, he was everything for that particular time period that was despised. He represented everything that people hated. Russia, steroids, Russia. I don't know. People were moving away from a flat top in a hurry. Like he represented it all. Like the training montage. I don't know if you guys remember the training montage where it's like Rocky's out in the wilderness and he's at the cabin, and he's like pulling the wagon and chopping wood and running through the snow and all that. And then Drago is in the like in the state-of-the-art laboratory getting shot up with steroids and punching all the pressure-sensitive, targets and all that junk. But anyway, I just think he kind of stands out above all others. There was one other that I considered, which was none other than
Shooter McGavin.
How did you know?
Yeah, good call.
I thought that's what you were going.
Get out
when
of
you
my
said,
head, man.
When you said sports villain, I started nodding my head. I was like, "Here comes Shooter McGavin." I didn't see Ivan Drago coming. But that's a good one.
Yeah. Shooter McGavin was up there for me. So anyway, the GOAT of sports villains, Ivan Drago. That's my number one pick.
I like it. That's a good pick.
That is a good pick. So for my first round pick, it's a little bit against the grain, maybe kind of out there in left field, but I'm going to have to go with Jesus Christ as my GOAT. I mean, I feel like he is
Wow, that doesn't
literally
feel
the
fair.
greatest person just the greatest person of all time. When I saw that I got the third pick, I was like, okay, somebody might get this one. And yeah, no, I'm really glad it was still there. I feel like he's just literally the best human of all time.
Understatement.
I mean, I don't even know the words to describe him. I'm honestly speechless. When I was trying to think of like a little thing to say about him, I was like, man, I mean, there's a whole book about him, pretty much a whole half of a book. So, that kind of speaks for itself. I'll just leave it at that.
Jesus was on the board, and me and Blake took Joey Chestnut and Ivan Drago.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I'm the one who works for a church, so I'm not sure what that says. So yeah,
I didn't think about that though, but then I was like, that's not fair if you take Jesus. But I mean, you gotta win. You gotta try to win the draft. So I'm with you.
I mean, yeah. Apparently, I got smashed in the last draft, so I got some redemption. You know what I mean? I got to prove myself.
Well, you just picked all the redemption you needed right there. So
I mean, that's what he's all about.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. All right.
For my second round pick, probably going to go here in a little bit different direction as far as morals. But I'm going to have to go Barry Bonds. I'm a big baseball guy, and I think he's the best baseball player of all time, with or without steroids.
Wow.
I mean, I just think that putting bat on ball is 90% of the battle. And I feel like there was only a couple that did it better than him, and he did it with far more power than those guys. And he was truly a five-tool player as well, even when he was younger.
Yeah, I was.
How do you feel about that, Blake?
I mean, I like young Barry especially. Like, with the stolen bases and the hitting and stuff, just as a all around good hitter. I mean, obviously the home run race and everything was like a spectacle to behold, but. I hate that it happened so fresh after McGwire and Sosa, because I feel like people got so hung up on the home run race with McGwire and Sosa that I feel like when Bonds came along, it was kind of like, here he is, blowing that out of the water. But I feel like people were, I don't know, a little numb for what was happening.
Yeah, I still think of McGwire and Sosa when I think about the home run race, and when Bonds blew both of them out of the water, really, like 5 years later, I think is what it was, 3 years later.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, you already know I'm with you. I think he's the best baseball player of all time. Definitely the most feared.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Blake.
All right, here we go. Let's go with undeniably the GOAT. You want to take a guess, Braylon? You in my head already? I'm going with
the dome.
The greatest TV wildlife personality of all time, Mr. Steve Irwin,
Steve
the
Irwin.
crocodile hunter.
That's the GOAT.
Undeniably the GOAT.
Yep.
People can come in here and give me some of that Jack Hanna talk all they want, but that's garbage. Nobody done it like Steve. Nobody done
Straight
it like
trash
crocodile
bags.
hunter. Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
he gave his life. He gave his life to it, man. Literally. I mean, he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
He's
We
all
had an
you think
episode of
about.
No, for certain. Nobody. I mean, all these other guys, you don't see them. You don't see them. Walk up on a 14-foot crocodile in the wild and just jump on his back like Irwin would, or go up and pick up a brown snake, like one of the most venomous snakes in the world, and just grab it by the tail like a 6-7 footer and start playing around with it. He was the man. And we did an episode of our podcast where we did a dinner guest. What 4 people would you want to invite to dinner if you could invite anybody living or dead? And although I didn't invite him, he was way high up on my list because I think he would be the life of any party you brought
Oh
it
yeah.
to.
And stuff like that's just cool. Somebody that's just tougher and just like not scared of anything like that. Like I'm just fascinated by those people.
Yeah, and I think, like, for me, it was his presence of mind that he was on TV and he could sit there and tell you everything you needed to know about this animal as he's creeping up to pounce on it. Like, I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. I feel like, from our side, you're like, man, that's crazy. But he's like out there doing it in the threat of death, pretty much every time he's on TV. And he just did it with such confidence and like kept his composure. I mean, that's awesome. When you really think about like his whole job and about what he did, and he was just such an entertainer too.
Yeah, he checked all the boxes as far as like what you say. He's in the heat of the moment, but still like educating you, and also like extremely over the top passionate, right? About, like, you could tell he was passionate about what he was doing, and that he really cared about, like, the health of the animals and conservation and all that jazz. But he was just a wild dude.
Yeah, like one of the most purest people of all time too.
For sure.
So I'll go with my second one. And when I think about, there wasn't many people that were bigger fans of racing than my grandpa. There was one guy he had pictures of everywhere, and it was Dale Earnhardt. Dale Earnhardt, to me, is the greatest driver of all time. He was the guy.
He was the man. I grew up I was a Davey Allison fan as a kid, but it was always, Allison and Earnhardt, like, back and forth then. But of course, Davey, died young, and then Earnhardt was just kind of he was it from then on for the longest. I have a, like, really, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have, like, sad stories about, like, when he passed away, but in the South, there's people that's just like over the top, right? And so when I was in college, I was taking, I can't remember what course it was, but there was like this guy that was probably like in his late 50s, early 60s that come back to school and was in this class. I still remember his name, but I'm not going to say it. But he showed up the day after Earnhardt died, and he had on, like, Intimidator, his jacket, and when the professor just comes in and starts rocking, this is like a sociology class. It's like a graduate level sociology class. The professor comes in and starts rocking away on the lecture for today, and he stands up and interrupts him and says, "I can't believe you're just going to come in here and carry on when one of the greatest men that's ever lived just passed away." And anyway, he was like, "You're not even going to..." And I mean, he just starts berating the professor and starts like crying in the middle of it. I mean, it was like, looking back, it was one of the most surreal moments. And I'm not trying to, like, belittle that the man died, I mean, that was, like, obviously tragic, and it, like, crushed a lot of people. But that was that's what I'll always remember that. I always remember that from the day after he died.
I need to get that guy's name. We got to get him on the pod.
Definitely.
Mayor it out. So my third pick.
At one point, he tries to interrupt him. Sorry, he tried to interrupt him, and then he's just like, "I'm just going to let him go. I'm just going to let him go." And the professor just, like, sits down at his desk and just sits there and listens for, like, the next 10 minutes. So
He just had to get it off his chest.
That's it.
I need one of those jackets, I guess.
Yeah, for real.
I need to look into that.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the goat of all pets, and I'm taking just the old dog. The dog is, if you're a cat person, you're a weirdo. Like, dogs they're king.
I'm a big dog guy. I actually don't have a dog right now. I do up at Aunt Linda's house, but me and Lindsay currently have a cat, so I don't know if I'm a great endorser for this, but I do agree with you that dogs are the GOAT. Truly man's best friend.
It's hard to beat a good dog.
Yep.
What kind of dog do you have, Braylon?
I have a golden doodle.
Oh, wow.
So-
Okay. I don't have a dog. Currently, we did. The last dog we had was a miniature Maltese, and he got taken off by a hawk. And yeah, it's funny. I mean, sort of. It's sad. It's tragic, but it's funny.
Yeah, that's awful.
Just like the Dale Earnhardt story.
Did you see it happen?
So I saw him get picked up once and dropped from about 7 or 8 foot, and then it was just a few days later that he got taken off, and I didn't actually see it, but I heard him yelp, and then I heard him yelp.
Oh my
And then I heard him yelp again from probably several hundred yards away, and I could tell that it was coming from an elevation. So
God, man, that's awful.
yeah, it is. It was awful. It was a teacup Maltese. So it was a bad deal. It was a sad day at the Wingo house. So
I bet.
Yeah, but I cats and dogs, man. We have cats now. We've got several acres, and so our cats, they're like strictly outside. They don't come inside, and they're just like mousers, So they're just always like bringing up stuff and laying it on the porch and decapitating. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I walked out.
there's a difference in like being a cat person and having cats. Like having
Yeah,
a
for sure.
cat's perfectly fine. Like being the old cat lady, that's a different story. No offense to any old
Yeah.
cat ladies that are listening.
No. My wife and I used to have a pair of elderly sisters. The young one was 94, and the young one was 94, and the older one was like 102, and they had like 17 cats, and we lived right
Oh,
next
my
door to
goodness.
them, and you could look at their door in their carport, looked into their kitchen, and you would see cats like walking around on the kitchen countertops and stuff like that.
Oh,
Man,
That's a cat person. That's messed up.
yeah, that's bad.
But yeah, what's the old saying? It's like a dog looks at you like you love on me, you feed me, you play with me, you provide for me, you must be God. But a cat looks at the same situations like you love on me, you provide for me, you feed me, I must be God. That sums up their personality.
yeah, definitely. That is spot on.
All right, is it my turn?
Yes.
Am I up? Okay. Since somebody took my 3rd round pick, let's see. Where are we going here? All right, I'm going to show my age a little bit on this one. And yeah, I might have gave this away right before we started, but I'm going with the GOAT of mustaches, the greatest mustache of all time, and that is Mr. Tom Selleck, Magnum PI.
Fire.
Yeah, here's you another shot right here. And there's a lot of other great mustaches out there, but I have to go with Selleck just because of number one, just like overall sex appeal.
Yeah, for sure.
Hawaiian T-shirts, the willingness to, when they were absolute dumpster fire, still rock the Detroit Tigers hat way back when, and anyway, it's just a classic. Like when you see a thick, dark mustache with a clean-shaven face, like no, people immediately think Magnum PI. They immediately think Tom Selleck.
Yep.
There's some others that I considered strong consideration for Paul Tuttle Sr. from Orange County Choppers with the handlebar
Yep.
mustache. That's an iconic mustache. And then also considered Jamie Heineman, who's the guy with the curl mustache from the show Mythbusters. That's an iconic mustache. Both of them do well, but I just don't think they're anywhere near Tom Selleck's level.
So
Yeah, it's what the mustache stood for. You know what I mean? I mean, just I don't know, man. Just man. You know what I mean? Like he's just that's just a guy's a guy's dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he just beautiful mustache.
There's
That's
so many
amazing.
shots.
He was like in his
so many
50s.
shots of him. Yes. You know, he was
like dating Courtney Cox.
his
on
mustache
Friends.
is what. Yeah, his mustache is like what Burt Reynolds wanted to be. There's so many pictures of him
Right.
on like a beach in Hawaii with no shirt on, hairy chest, ripped, short blue jean shorts on, cut off shorts, and a mustache, and he's just like, I mean, he's just got it going on. You put some
Yeah, he's what
aviators on
every
that,
man
it's
wanted to be
game
then.
over. Yeah, for sure.
So when you flashed it before the show, I just barely caught a glance of it. I thought it was Lionel Richie. I thought you were taking the GOAT American Idol judge.
No,
That's what I was expecting right there. All right, so that'll be Cole is next. Back to back.
Man, this is where it gets tough. Because it's like, which way do you want to go? You know, like I'm a big sports guy, so sports comes to mind immediately, and I have to go with the best Olympian ever, as far as medal count, and it's Michael Phelps. The dude is literally a fish. I think he has pretty much every swim record at one point. I know in the Olympics, what was it, 2008 and then 2012? I mean, he just put on one of the best performances I've ever seen in my life, and like he just rallied America. Like I mean, it was like America was like a swim. Like everybody watched that Olympics for some reason, and it was just huge. And I don't know why. I mean, I feel like ever since then, you know, we lose a superstar. We have, you know, like Simone Biles and like the gymnastics team. But other than that, I mean, nobody really watches the Olympics that much. But for some reason, everybody was tuned in to watch the swimmers swim that year, or those 2 years. And yeah, he's the GOAT swimmer, GOAT Olympian, whatever you want to call it. But Michael Phelps.
Yeah, he won every race he was in, I think. Like everything they would let him swim in, he won it.
Pretty crazy. Just to have the pressure and then to go out and perform, I think is something that, you know, to some degree every pro has that ability, but to rise to the top and be the best like that over and over again, is definitely something that is very impressive. Just like in the span of humans, you know what I mean? Because like, you got to think these are the best of the best swimmers from across the world, and he's just dominating all of them. And he did it for pretty good long time too. So, but after that, the next GOAT, another sports guy. You know, people love him, people hate him, but I feel like he's the one who really started the GOAT discussion, and it's Tom Brady. He's kind of hit a rough patch here recently. But I feel like he was the first one that people were like, he's the GOAT. And that was when he was still with the Patriots. He won a Super Bowl since then, so he's just even more the GOAT. And I don't want to hear people in the comments, well, Peyton Manning had better stats. I don't care. I don't care about Peyton Manning's stats. I don't care about, you know, I don't care about any of that. I don't care about what Joe Namath did back in the day. Tom Brady's the GOAT. You can count the rings on his fingers, except the wedding ring. Don't count that one. All the championship rings.
Too soon.
I mean, he's a leader of men. He's the GOAT. I feel like he's the original GOAT, and like that's where I feel like that's where that saying came from, right? Or was there somebody else before that? Maybe
it was the
LeBron.
LeBron Jordan debate. Maybe that's where it came from.
That's what I think of.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's no debate in football. Like, Tom Brady is the GOAT. You can pick a side, MJ, LeBron. You could pick different baseball players. But Tom Brady has more Super Bowls than any other team has. he has 7. The next team is the Patriots. They have 6, and that's because he won all 6 of them. It's like there's no debate there.
Yeah, it's like there's your stat right there, right?
Yeah. He's on his second hand.
So what can I sidebar there? Then where if that's what punches the ticket to Goat Mountain, like where does that put you on Bill Russell?
I think it's different in football just because, like, he has more than every other team. So, like, if Bill Russell had, more than any other team had, then I don't think there's even a debate for that. But he's got, he has, 10 or 11? And there are, several guys that have that many.
I hear you.
I've always been about that argument. People always talk about, Jordan. They bring up the rings, and I always was like, well, Bill Russell has a cajillion rings,
right?
And so I'm for bringing that argument up. I think it's also a great troll to the super hardcore Jordan fans, but I think it's also a legitimate argument.
Yeah, and Bill Russell averaged 14 points a game, so that's come on.
Yeah,
that's what I always go to.
I hear you. Well, so believe it or not, you now have both stolen one of my picks. So Braylon takes Joey Chestnut, and then Cole takes, I was going to go greatest Olympian of all time with Michael Phelps. And all kinds of sweet stats on, the amount of food that he consumed, stuff like that in training. I thought some of that stuff was interesting. So I'm going to go way off label here.
Can I ask you a question real quick? What was his calorie count? Do you have that up?
Yeah, well, you find different information on it, but there's pretty consistently across the web, and where I look, that he would consistently consume in the neighborhood of 15,000 calories a day when he was in the midst of heavy training.
Wow.
So
that is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent. It's a light day would be 10,000 calories. So, yeah.
His wingspan's 8.5 feet long. He's just a freak.
But it's if you're eating like that, and your heart's not stopping, or you're not. Can you imagine the amount of hours he's putting in the pool has to be just astronomical.
Oh,
to burn
ridiculous.
That up. Yeah. So I'm going to go way off label here. So this is not. This is going to be a curveball. I'm going with the greatest fictional Pee Wee hockey coach of all time, the Minnesota Miracle Man.
Okay.
Gordon Bombay.
Now we're talking.
Gordon Bombay, Coach Bombay, coached the underdog District 9 to a Minnesota state championship, beating his childhood team in perennial power, the Hawks. Also passing down his famous triple deep move to team captain, Charlie Conway.
So did you watch the new one of that? How did you feel about that?
I did. I watched the new series. I got Coach Bombay also coached many of those same kids, along with some additional standouts from around the country, to a gold medal in the Junior Goodwill Games over global hockey power Iceland, and managed to land a date with Iceland's smoking hot assistant coach in the process.
That's awesome.
Other Pee Wee hockey coaches considered for this award, there are none. Fictional Pee Wee hockey coaches. Maybe all the other guys that came in second in Mighty Ducks. How about that? I did watch the new series to answer your question, or I have been watching it. I watched the first season, and I watched I've watched I think every episode so far in season 2. They're on season 2 of that show. So, just honest opinion, season 1 was kind of cool just because of the throwback to all the original movies. A lot of cameos and stuff. Season 2, not so much. They're starting to lose me, so they're going to have to come on strong, or else they're going to lose me. So
that's what I've heard. I haven't watched it yet, but that's what basically I've heard from everyone else too.
Yeah, season 1 was pretty good because they brought back a lot of the original cast. Most of them were just cameos. You know, I mean, it's all about like these new kids. I mean, it's a Disney show, but anyway, it was a way to get my kids interested in going back and watching the original movies. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because I got to go back and watch them all. Like not growing up. I guess I'm probably too old to be like enjoying Mighty Ducks movies, but like those were movies that like if I ever came in,
Never
and they
too
were
old.
If they were on TV, like I'm watching them, you know. Like that's one of them that's like if I'm flipping through and it's on, it's like, okay, well, I've seen it a million times, but I'm going to stop because it never gets old watching a knuckle puck, you know. So
So is it just that movie, or is it like, are you a big Miracle fan too?
I mean, I'm a fan of the U.S. winning, but I'm not a fan of the movie necessarily. I felt like Kirk Douglas
Okay.
did a good job playing the coach and all, but I wasn't like,
Yeah.
I didn't think that movie itself was like, you know, it was good, but it didn't catch me. It
See,
didn't
it's
get
up
me
there
like
for
Mighty
me.
Ducks did.
Yeah, it's like
Really?
top 5 for me. So I didn't know if you were just a big hockey fan or you just enjoyed the Mighty Ducks. Just scratched that itch for you.
Yeah, I just like the Mighty Ducks. I don't know. I was a big Emilio Estevez fan from like Young Guns. So the with Young Guns and Young Guns 2. So and I don't know if you guys remember there was a movie called Men at Work that was Emilio and Charlie Sheen both, and they were garbage men. That's a classic. They end up like finding a dead body inside of a 55-gallon drum while they're trying to dispose of anyway because they're garbage men, and it was like
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a good watch if you ever get a chance.
So I don't really know where to go from here. None of my picks have been taken yet, and I have 10 written down. And I honestly like all of them the same, so I guess I'm just going to go with my gut. I'm going to take Heath Ledger as the greatest movie villain, which I guess is kind of counterintuitive since you've already taken the sports villain. But Heath Ledger as the Joker, to me, that's like the best acting performance of all time.
It was pretty great. I remember I don't remember how old I was when I saw that movie the first time. We went and saw it in theaters, and I mean, I was truly scared of the Joker. I had seen the old Batmans and the Jack Nicklaus Joker, and it was so good. And then I hate that he had to or that he passed away, because I mean, what a great career that would have been for him. But I mean, that movie is just, one, a great movie. Two, he makes it just because of how in he goes as the Joker. I mean, you're like, you don't even realize it's Heath. Like, there's no Heath Ledger there. Like, it is the Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like sadistic for sure. The scene that got me like so quick was when he busts up in the meeting of a bunch of the guys and he does the thing where was it like a pencil or something on the table? That's like, oh my gosh, that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up, man. That's
Yeah.
like this guy's yeah, he was creepy, but he was a
Yes.
phenomenal actor. I tell you, one of my favorite
Oh, yeah.
Heath Ledger roles though is other than the Joker in that one is A Knight's Tale.
Oh,
Have you
great
seen it?
movie.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's good stuff. That was a good pick.
Okay. I'm glad I got that then. I just felt like I had to get that on the graphic somewhere. And
Yeah.
now I don't know where to go because I have 2 sports ones left. So I'll have a lot of honorable mentions. But I think I have to take the greatest bounty hunter of all time, and it's Dog the Bounty Hunter. Like, he has earned that name. He is the bounty hunter. So when you think of bounty hunters, there's only one guy that comes to mind, and it's him.
That's pretty good. He probably has
Maybe.
the best mullet too.
Yeah.
Got two dogs on my board.
Dog and dog. Maybe Boba Fett from Star Wars. That would be the only other bounty hunter I could even think of.
Right.
Man, I don't know. This is my last pick coming up. Is that right?
Yes.
I don't even know where to. Y'all have taken two of my picks. I got more, but some of these, I just don't feel. I kind of want to share them when we're done. Are we allowed to do that? Some of the things we considered.
Yes.
Can we do that?
Oh, yeah,
we'll
for
have
sure.
to do that.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll go with this then. And I'm this one is actually a shout out to you guys for you. Braylon mentioned to me once before of doing a draft of best naps. Have you guys done that yet?
Ooh.
End up doing that? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not yet.
Okay, well, you'll get somebody else for it, and they're not allowed to use this one, okay? Because this is a shout-out. So I'm going with
All right.
the greatest TV painter of all time, Mr. Bob Ross.
Yes.
All right, so unbelievable. Well, first off, can you name any other TV painters? Because I can't.
Nope.
Bob Ross, and also unbelievable mullet, right? I mean, not mullet, afro. Unbelievable afro going on there.
Incredible.
Just classic. And just the most soothing, monotone voice that you could. Here's a happy little tree and some clouds. And we'll feather them in to the left. And just the most monotone, pleasing voice. And that was going to be like right up there at the top of my best naps. Okay? Best naps draft. Where it places and times to take a nap. Bob Ross would have been extremely high on the list. Because it's like, and because he draws you in. It's like, oh, wow, that's a mountain. Oh, wait, no, that's a reflection of a mountain. And then the next thing you know, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. You know, I mean,
Just
it's,
slump.
so
That's
Bob Ross.
awesome.
That's where I feel good about finishing there.
The longevity of Bob Ross is almost unmatched. Like, I feel like he hasn't done a show in forever, and you still see memes and posts of him all the time.
Well, he died when? Do you guys remember?
I don't know.
I could look it up real quick. It was I mean he's been passed away quite a while back, I believe.
I mean, he still has like a special on Netflix, right, or something like that. You
90
can find like his.
Yeah, that's right. 1995. He passed away.
Is when he passed away?
He passed
Wow.
away in 1995. How about that?
That's wild.
That is wild, considering how much you still see him. Considering that guy, how many people? There's not a Halloween goes by that you at least don't see on Facebook or Instagram somebody dressed up like Bob Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he passed away
crazy.
30 years ago. That's insane.
Yeah, you could make it. You could make a strong argument that he was way more popular after he passed away than any time while he was living, probably. So anyway, I feel good about that.
All right, Cole, close us out. Then we'll go
that's a
over some
pretty good
honorable
one.
mentions.
This one, it depends on your TV coverage, if you see him or not. But I got to stay true to my roots. That's what I'm all about. I'm all about staying true to my roots. You know, I go with what I know, as me and Braylon call it, running the ball. So I got to run the ball here for myself. And I got to go Jim Rome as the GOAT of I guess daily radio shows. I don't know. He's the GOAT. He's not scared to go there. He's not scared to call anybody out and then have him on the show. He's like what Colin Cowherd wants to be. I mean, I feel like he's just been around forever. He's hilarious. I listen to him every day. He doesn't even talk about things that I really like. Like, he talks about, horse racing and and the NFL, and like he's like a big basketball guy, you know, and he doesn't really talk about college football or baseball. But I mean, I still listen to him. He has a great voice. He's hilarious. There's clips of him. He does these rants, and he has a rant like, about softball, and I think it's hilarious because it'll really humble you if you get too into softball. It really did make you kind of take that step back and think about it. And he talks about oh man, I just lost my train of thought. He goes in, what is that dude's name? He's played quarterback in the NFL, and he has him. And Jim Rome is like super young. It's back in the 90s, and he calls him Chris something. I cannot remember.
Oh, I remember that when he flips the table.
Yeah, and Chris is like a tennis player, like a female tennis player, and it's the last name is the same. It doesn't matter. He calls it. He's like, the football player is like, you won't call me Chris again. Like, you've been saying that all the time, you know, on your radio show, but I'm here right now, and you won't say it to my face again. And he goes, okay, Chris. And dude just flips the table, comes at him. They had to cut the show off.
Shoves him off the stage.
And, yeah, I mean, it's absolutely hilarious. But yeah, GOAT of sports radio, midday sports radio, I guess, Jim Rome.
So do you know who that is, Blake?
Oh yeah, he. I like Rome.
Okay.
He goes. He'll go hard in the paint too. He's not. For whatever reason, he comes across different when he does it versus when Cowherd does it. Like that, I'm not. I mean, admittingly, I don't listen to either one of them a lot, but I like him. I like him. He cuts an awesome promo too.
Oh yeah,
that he does.
Short clip. Yeah.
So me and Cole are close enough to where I kind of know where his brain goes a lot, and two of his favorite people is Frank Caliendo and Jim Rome. So anytime Frank Caliendo goes live on like Instagram, Cole gets on there and he just spams, "Hey, do the Jim Rome impression," and he just says it over and over and over until he eventually does it. So you've got him to do it like a handful of times, haven't you?
I think it's like been like 10 times now. Like I'll just catch him like when I'm just bored at night. He'll just he'll go live and he'll do like his impressions, and everybody's like, "Do Iron Man, do John C. Reilly, do Morgan Freeman," and I'm just in there, Jim Rome, do the Jim Rome impression. And, that's absolutely phenomenal, incredible. It's hilarious. He does it spot on, and he does on TikTok. He did like a voicemail as Jim Rome, and I have it saved. I want to make it my voicemail, but I don't know. I'd have to pick the audio out or something. But
that's
it's great.
Solid. That's solid. I like that. Yeah, Caliendo's fantastic. I like him too.
He's so
I'm shocked you didn't draft him.
Yeah, I like his.
I should have, because he is the goat of I guess like voice impersonator, or what, I don't know what you call that.
Yeah.
But he's just the John Gruden stuff too is so funny. Back in the day on ESPN.
Yeah, but it was his Madden that made him like really popular, right?
Yeah, because he went on Madden, right, and did it.
Yeah,
or so he did something crazy. It's so funny.
He had like a bit talking about a turducken or something like that as a Madden. Yeah, I remember that. And the Charles Barkley was terrible. That was the
So I had a handful that I didn't get to. Sports, I had Tiger Woods and Wayne Gretzky. And then I had Reese's Best Candy, USA.
That's solid.
Goat Country.
Yeah.
And then I had Big Daddy is the Goat Movie.
Okay.
Which, y'all did just do Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
I did appreciate it. I think all three of y'all had it in the top 5.
Did we? Okay. I know I did, yeah.
But I was expecting it to be one on everyone's list.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Like I said, we record our episodes, and so sometimes that's like, somebody will come up to me and say, "Hey, I remember that." I listened to the episode and da da da. It may be that we recorded it a month ago, and I'm like, "What did I say?" Or especially when somebody's like, man, you were talking about this, and you're so stupid, you know, and they start railing on me about something, and it's like I can't defend myself because I don't know what they're talking about. But so I have to remind me of what I said again. Anyway, but yeah, I do remember the Adam Sandler. Yeah, I went 50 first dates because Sean Austin in 50 First Dates, wearing his mesh tank tops and with talking with the lisp, it just owns me. It destroys me. And anyway, and I think him and Drew Barrymore were like, they were good together in that movie. But yeah, Big Daddy was in my top 5 for sure. And Mr. Deeds, Big Daddy and Mr. Deeds both.
Mm-hmm.
Both are solid.
I got some honorable mentions. Some of my other ones were way off label as well. I had let's see, greatest television theme song of all time, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh yeah,
it's classic. It's an iconic. Let's see what else. Since this is sports talk, the greatest permanent marker of all time, the Sharpie. I don't know if that's not focusing for me there, but anyway, the Sharpie is the greatest permanent marker of all time.
That is a good one. You don't ever see any other Sharpies in the wild, or any other markers. It's always Sharpie.
Always Sharpie.
Yeah, and like I said, y'all got my my Joey Chestnut, my Michael Phelps pick. Oh, I had this one will show my age as well, but the greatest dinner roll of all time is the Quincy's Big Fat Yeast Roll. So Quincy's Big Fat Yeast Roll. So at Quincy's, it was yeast rolls were all you could eat. And when I was in high school, we used to go to Quincy's in Jasper because it was the closest Quincy's to us. And me and some buddies, you go in and order the buffet, right? And then yeast rolls and the dessert bar were free. And so we got them on a technicality. We got them on a technicality one time, and me and some buddies went in. There's like 4 of us go in there, and we sit down and order a sweet tea. And we all order a glass of tea, and then just start hammering yeast rolls in the dessert bar for like an hour and a half. Till the waitress comes over and says, you guys are going to have to order a buffet if you want to stay. We're like, well, y'all said that, you know, and we, like I said, we got them on a technicality, and they ended up changing the wording of the menu at Quincy's in Jasper because of me and my friends. So anyway,
that is awesome.
I mean, we probably ate 10 baskets of Big Fat Yeast Rolls and about 5 trips to the dessert bar. I had one more. Oh yeah, here we go. Greatest men's underwear of all time, Duluth bare naked underwear. I don't know if you guys own any Duluth.
I've never, you know,
I don't, but Christmas is coming up.
A lot of people have told me that I need to invest in underwear because I'm just like, you know, I'm going to get whatever, you know, the 10-pack from Amazon, or I'll go down to Walmart, which is like, and those are starting to get expensive, so I might need to invest in some actual good underwear.
Yeah, so it started as a Christmas gift. I think like my mom or something, you know, my mom's still like, you know, like 40 years old, and my mom still gives me a stocking for Christmas, and she like packs it full of stuff, and she gives me a stocking and it has Duluth bare naked underwear in it, and
that's nice.
Yeah, as soon as I tried them, it was just like life changing. And so like actually the day after I wore them for the first time, where I wore them all day, I tweeted at the end of that day. My tweet was, I remember it like it was yesterday. I said, at Duluth Trading, I said, one day I'll wake up and all that will be in my underwear drawer is your underwear, and then I'll know I've arrived. And you know what they did? They sent me a coupon for a free pair of underwear because I guess because I added them.
That's sick.
So I know, yeah. So
awesome.
Then I had 2, and then so from then on I would tell my wife and my mom, it's like, hey, y'all just buy me a pair of underwear every year, and that's several years ago. And then they got to where they get me 2, and so now it's like that's all I have is Duluth underwear. So I guess I've arrived. Anyway, I think that's it. That was all my honorable mentions there.
What'd you have, Cole?
I had a couple different ones. I usually like to do these things. I'll put a little preparation in. I'll kind of think about it, but I don't usually write things down just because I'm hard headed and that's just how I am. So I kind of had to come with it off the top of the dome, which I feel like is pretty on brand, anyways. But I was split. Well, I had William Shakespeare as best playwright. I don't know if I could have lived with myself if that was on my list, but I feel like it's notable. And then TV chef, GOAT TV chef, I was pretty split on this one too because I had Gordon Ramsay, and then I also had Emerald. So I feel like Emerald kind of, paved the way for TV chefs back in the day, and he has some pretty good restaurants too. Nick Saban obviously was one of the ones that came to mind, but I kind of just have beef with him right now. I'll be over it here in about a week when I yell at Bill O'Brien from the from the catwalk or whatever when I see him walking out of the stadium. But then we'll be all good. So, and then the last one, I feel like I got to put my mom up there. I feel like anytime I talk about my mom, I feel like I'm always saying that she's the GOAT, and so GOAT Walmart employee. I don't know. GOAT mom, I don't know, but yeah, I got to put her on there.
She could have made a run at Jesus for GOAT human. She'd have been at least.
Yeah, I know. That's what I started thinking about.
Yeah, so he mentions his mom and Jesus, and so that makes Braylon and I absolute trash.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't take your mom. Your list would have made us look awful.
Well, I don't know. I figured, I don't know, man. I feel like every time we go somewhere, she's like a Gardendale celebrity of some, everybody knows who she is. She's the phone lady in Walmart. Like, I don't know. She's been there. I don't know how many years it's been. She'll probably slap me for even talking about it, but I think that she's like a celebrity. Literally, we can't go to Walgreens in Gardendale and somebody will say, "Hey, I love my phone," or "I love the TV that you showed me." It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, she really is like the sweetest woman on earth. But that's it. Y'all got anything else?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you coming on and flexing that brain on us, man. You had some really good picks. That's one of my favorite parts about bringing different people on, getting different people's opinions. Always mixing it up, keeping you on your toes.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll have to have you guys on our podcast. All we need is a topic. Yeah, we can bring a topic. We do ours in person, but we do have the ability to obviously, video or phone in, either one. So if y'all don't want to come and sit in the studio and smell us, that's fine.
Hey, I'm all about coming in. I like good smells. You know what I mean?
We've been trying to get the studio dialed in a little bits at a time, and so we're getting there. We've got our table and our chairs and all the mic placement and all that kind of stuff like we like it, but our next move is to transport that table to another room with its a little more man cave-ish, I guess. So
that's cool.
But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we'll love to have you guys on. So let's make it happen. Heck yeah.
Yeah. So y'all go subscribe, listen to Blake's podcast, Unclever podcast. They've done everything. You'll find an episode on there that you're interested in. They're all three pretty funny guys, so y'all go check them out. But other than
appreciate
that,
it, guys.
That's it.
I like what you guys have going, so I'm catching up. I'm catching up on all your episodes. So I think y'all were out of the gate before us, weren't you?
We started last March.
First episode out before us? Yeah.
So was it last March?
It was March.
Man.
How many episodes in are you guys?
47, 48.
Yep. So you got...
Yeah, so I lost count. I was keeping count pretty good, and then I lost count. I feel like I've moved, I feel like twice since we started, so I've just been in in
Yeah, you did.
shambles.
You'll have to get your count current, so you at least know when you hit 100. That's got to be a big show, right?
That's right. That's right.
It's like when UFC has those big shows. You'll be able to put together the perfect card.
Yeah,
That's exactly right.
I have to do something for 50. I think we're at like 47, 48. I'll have to double check.
Gotcha.
But that's it, I guess.
That's all I got. Yeah, let's get out of here, Blake. We appreciate you, man. Yeah, let's have a good week.
Love you guys.
So yeah.